Here with UAB head coach Trent Dilfer. Coach, just right to it. Was there ever a point this offseason where you were nervous about the potential of losing your quarterback, Jacob Zeno?
Jacob Zeno, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, as the season unfolds and, the portal's coming, you're nervous about losing all your good players. That's just the nature of where we're at in college football and the conference we're in. We're really honest with our players. I sat Jacob down and I told him it would be crazy not to explore his options. I care about Jacob. And if it was going to be life-changing money, then I told him I'd fully support his decision to move on. And he did. He had two really lucrative offers that he thought long and hard about. We were open with him and his parents. There were some nervous times there because, the logic would say that he should have left. But I think there's a value proposition right now to every player. The economic piece is part of it, but then there's a nurturing piece, and then there's a development piece that I think does an opportunity that does increases your value at a place that may not have the same economics. And in his credit, he saw that, and he felt like coming back and working with us and the people that were coming back, the pieces were his best opportunity and actually was the best value for him. And we appreciate that.
Jacob's career has really gotten back on track since being, with you and at UAB. What do you accredit that to?
Well, I'd give him most of the credit. He put his nose to the ground and worked. I think the year before we got there, he felt like he should have been the quarterback. He played well in the 4 games, I think it was, that he played. And then he was excited about the opportunity to work with us and the staff, and he jumped in with both feet. I mean, he worked hard. He listened. He took to the coaching really well. He grew as a person off the field, grew as a player, and I think all that showed in his production last year. And the same thing this year. I think he's taken another step. We've challenged him to take another step forward, and we try to give him great coaching and great information, but it's really on him to take it and then to translate it onto the football field.
Are there any position battles that you are particularly excited to see how they fold out coming into fall camp?
We have a handful of penciled-in starters because of veterans, but really the team knows, and we don't really talk a ton about position competition. We talk about chasing your best, and if your best is showing up daily and you're consistent, then you'll probably be the guy starting. But we do look for a lot of players to contribute. I think in this time of college football, with how recruiting is going, where you're sprinkling portal and you have high school kids that you're developing and just the hodgepodge of it all, you're probably going to play more players. Tempo is a huge part of that. Teams in our conference, we're one of them that's going to play 80 plays a game. You can't expect one player to play the same position that many plays. So you're going to play multiple players. I think they all understand that. But yeah, there's things in camp of guys that you're looking to take the next step, and if they do, they probably have a little more juice in the tank than the guy that is ahead of them. We have some young guys competing with old guys, and old guys, there's a lot of benefit in having old guys. They make better decisions. They tend to handle the business off the field a little bit better. They're more mature. It's a little more serious to them. But their bodies sometimes aren't as strong as fresh. So now you have younger players with maybe a little more juice in the tank that if they take the next step, that they can take snaps away from that veteran player. So I think all of us are kind of in the same boat. I personally don't look at starting lineups as in Sharpie. They're in pencil. So I think every week you're going to have players challenging each other for playing time, especially if you're building the program the way I hope to build it. Then players are going to get better throughout the season. And if player A is getting better and player B is staying the same, well then player A is going to be playing more at some point. So they're aware of that too. We keep it very honest and transparent in our building, and they know what the expectations are on a daily basis.
What do you think is the biggest thing that you've learned coming off your first year as a college head football coach?
I don't know if there's a most. I learned so much, and I was honest about that last year. I knew I was going to learn a lot. I don't care how long you're in football. I would assume that some of these guys that have coached a long time are still learning stuff because the game's changing. I think it's not that I learned something, I had something affirmed more than anything else. In my 42 years in football, and it starts when I was a ball boy, this game's about relationships and connecting with one another. And I think some of that has been whitewashed. You know, it's been cast aside because of money and winning. And that, listen, if somebody says they like to win more than the next guy, they're just lying. You know, we all want to win. There's a reason we're doing this, right? We all are going to play ping pong to the death. We're all competitive. Like, I'm so sick and tired of hearing, "Oh, I hate to lose more than any person in the world." And give me a friggin' break. We all are wired that way. That's why we're doing what we're doing. So if that's standard for everybody, then what can be the differentiator? To me, it's relationships. Relationships carry over to recruiting, they carry over to retention, they carry over to culture, they carry over to every aspect of winning. And when I've been part of greatness in my football career, it's been because those relationships were really close. And that was affirmed. Watch what we went through last year. I saw bad relationships become losing. So you're holding on for dear life to try, knowing it's going to cause you to lose, trying to make them better. So to be able to start in the off season and making relationships and connection the priority, hopefully will have fruit this year.
Last question. Whenever you're recruiting, whether it be a high school athlete or a transfer athlete, why UAB?
I think the city's wonderful. I think we have a lot to offer as an institution. Academically, there's a lot of different directions you could go. We are not for everybody, and we tell them that. You know, we're a city school. We're not some great college town, but I think that's attractive to a lot of players, especially a mature player. You know, we don't tend to recruit the kid that wants to go to college to party. We tend to recruit the kid that wants to go to college to be a professional in something. So there's a lot there. I think our staff's really attractive. We have a lot of NFL experience. We have a lot of Power 5 national championship experience. I think our strength and conditioning program, Lyle Henley and his team, as good as anybody in college football. We have great facilities, and we care about you. I think the biggest, where we've won in recruiting is authenticity. We've had kids sit down in my office, and I've looked at them and said, "This just isn't a good fit." And they're like, "What? I want to come here." And I'm like, "Nah, this is not a good fit." And I've had players look at me and say, "We really like you guys. Yeah, you treat us well. I can see myself playing football here, but I don't fit here." I'm like, "You know what? I think you're right." You know, so the transparency, we're looking for a certain type of person. We call them ODs, our dudes. You know, they fit, they fit us, they fit our mentality. They see the world through the same lens as we do. They're willing to do hard things. They're willing to be selfless. We get enough of those guys in the building, we're gonna be okay.
Thank you, Coach.